pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody,
So these things still aren't working,
They're not working?
so we can't hear.
What?
I noticed when. Okay. I'm getting on, but go ahead.
all right, so go right into the board of minutes and we're gonna have a change. You wanna explain the change?
Okay, so in the minutes, all we need to do is, where it says that Commissioner Hinkle commented that he reached out to Prairie County Commissioner Todd Devlin concerning the request for 20K to fund NACO's Public Lands Research Center. And Commissioner Hinkle explained that Commissioner Devlin was very informed on the matter and is trying to do a good job, but that he doesn't think Granite County will benefit from sending in the 20K, which it's actually Commissioner Hinkle who doesn't think Granite County will benefit from sending in the 20K. So the sentence in itself is confusing, where it's stating that Commissioner Devlin is, doesn't think the county will benefit, so we just need to reword that, stating that Hinkle doesn't feel it.
Okay,
I agree.
Okay,
So I'm gonna make a motion to accept on approval.
okay, no, there's one more thing. And this is concerning, the last item on the agenda with TJ in the budget. And that's just that I don't remember stating that it was gonna be tabled. I just remember there was a lot of,
I think I said something about it being tabled due, cause I thought we wanted her in here.
okay, but the one thing that I listened to the recording and I didn't hear anything about it being
Oh, well,
tabled.
what are we looking at this? Table what?
Tabled, TJ wanted to come in and discuss the budget.
Mhm.
And supposedly she had called in and said that she wasn't gonna be here or
And
something.
there was a note on a piece of paper that she couldn't or wouldn't be here, but then I said, when Wayne was explaining everything for them, we said, well, we need to talk to her to see what, because there was other stuff that came up. So I think I'm the one that said, well, she
Okay.
needs to be here so that.
I didn't,
Make that-
that's the only thing is I didn't catch that when I listened to the recording. And another thing on that actual item, there was a lot of chatter. And then the screen just went totally blank and was gone. So there was, we couldn't hear where you would adjourned. And so where we got the phone call from Elena last week asking if we were adjourned, listening to that recording. And I was listening to all kinds of chatter in the background. There's a lot of chatter. And I was trying to find her budget, TJ's budget, because I thought we were still discussing it and there was just chatter going on. And then it went blank.
Hmm.
So that's just,
Okay.
we need to kind of be careful and make sure that,
I remember saying you're adjourned.
yeah, but I didn't catch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, just so you know on the minutes and, you wanna make the motion now? Or you want me to
so
make the motion?
Blanche, back up.
Okay,
What's the correction on TJ's part of the minutes?
Okay, on TJ's. There really isn't, I'm just making a comment that I did not hear.
Okay.
That it was tabled and Scott just referenced that he
Okay.
did. And and I didn't catch it on the
Okay.
recording, and I rewatched the recording.
Okay, I'm reading now. So I'll move to accept the minutes. You did a good job,
Okay,
but I see they weren't sent. I tried to open them and there wasn't any attachment.
yeah, I had to call her and so she sent another one, yeah. I'll second it.
Any public comment? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried back. All right, we go to correspondence. Okay, first one is from David J. Heights. And he's calling on the Willow Creek Road. The lower Willow Creek Road, one above Hall. This is the first time I've seen this.
What do you want?
Oh, he's saying how bad it is and he spoke with Mr. All. I think we'll leave this out, make the top out when Paul comes in, and then we can see what. For sure, I'll just hold on to it here. Okay, and then the next one from Kareem. Means email correspondence with Billy, rescheduling, now they're rescheduling the dam inspection. Well, now it'll be Thursday, July 13th, 80. Okay, the next one is from Joan Redeem. On the construction begins on Montana 1. They're already done. It's all done. Or they shipped it. And then the reason why we have it,
Oh, no.
any public comments on the correspondence? Okay, now we'll go right into public comment.
Morning. How's it going, Billy? Billy, got some training?
Hmm?
Yeah.
Billy,
Tax appeal.
fun stuff.
Well, I'll talk to you later, but I think I figured out what we were talking about earlier.
Okay, all right. All right. Well, nice day out there. Morning. Good, how are you?
Any public comment?
Graduation Sunday and then P-Berg's is next Sunday, right?
That
Graduation's coming up here.
Sunday,
Drum had theirs already.
Yeah,
Typha?
graduate.
Yeah, Ben graduated. Yeah. 3 of 5.
Getting there.
Yeah.
They signed it.
that's kind of,
Lynch's birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Funny.
tells my age, I guess.
Happy birthday. Happy early birthday.
Thank you. Did you know that Queen Victoria's birthday is May 4th?
Oh, it is? All right. Who else?
Didn't, well. Canadian told me that years and years and years ago,
Told you what,
that Queen Victoria's birthday was May 24th. Same day as mine.
Nice day.
And this is, LHD load haul and dump in Butte when they were tunneling in. And they had in the pit, the Canadians came down and the Canadians kind of ran it.
Good. How are you?
So we hung out with the Canadians.
Also Roseanne Cash and Bob Dylan.
On May 24th?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? Well, I don't feel any older, I won't feel any older. I don't know if I was born in the morning or the night. Supposed to know that for your stars,
Alright. Morning.
cause if it's different.
Oh.
It's different if you're born at night or in the morning.
Well,
Stars on it. FYI. Public comment, no. So,
That's the thing I've seen.
I like
I couldn't get it. Oh. She tried to. Any public comment?
Keeps taking my pens.
I know it.
Probably should.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to do it. It's that spring. Okay, I'll shut up.
Is there any way you all Donnie Glenn? All I can see is.
Elaine is on and somebody that's phone number ends in 889.
Being there's no public comment, we'll go ahead and move on to weekly report, all of it here. Go ahead, Paul.
Just blade and rollers. That's about it, we got 3 blades on it. Trying to get caught up a little bit before it starts raining again tomorrow. But. That's about it, I'm going to a rock issue with Rock Creek. And went down Sunday because they called, because there was a big washout down there, but. It's 200 feet from the county line, it was in Missoula County, thank Christ. So, burned a little gas going down, but. Yeah, other than that, getting a lot of people calling for rough roads and stuff, but we're blading as fast as we can.
Doing a good job, I was out there, Ranch Rock, yesterday, doing a good job. All that stuff along the road there, that big city, they'll clean that up, right?
That's all in, but yeah, that's all their deal.
You gotta get up a little soon, or,
Blading now,
yeah, it was
Yeah.
up there. It was bad.
it's bad, yeah, yeah, Johnny's out there. Jim's up in Rungy,
Okay, we got close to an inch yesterday down, well,
that rain.
we just worked the road, fixed up everything down below.
So when you get caught up with the main roads, remember we promised them. Granite, we'd do something. Up there,
So we, yeah,
We,
yeah, we,
yeah, we,
So, hey, when Davy Sheets is coming down, I talked to him over the weekend. And they're building a couple of spur roads in, for encroachments for some property they own up there. And he was wondering about if he could do some work on that road. I said, I don't see why not, with the break paperwork. If he wants to do something, why wouldn't it out?
who was this now?
Baby sheep,
well, they're younger one, he's pretty keen on them.
Like, no expense or the.
No,
paid,
if not with a seal, he's got all his equipment there, I mean, if there's something.
He bladed it, or?
Well, he might not even make it this summer, because he's just talking about it, But we'll have to do something ourselves, obviously, parts of it, but. Anyway, it's just a thought, but if he is there, and he does wanna do something, well, he'll have cats and stuff there,
No, something big.
yeah. So, it's something that entertain when the time comes, I just want that.
But you're still planning.
Yeah.
Day or two, see what we can do.
Yeah. Well, go up and do something, whatever we can. Something. But. And then the weirs is full, we're gonna have to clean that out. So. We're gonna do that on a rainy day, can't wait. Just plan.
The only problem with that is what happens if it warms up and it just starts rushing out and it's all plugged. Didn't we get up there and get that cleaned out right away?
Well, we're planning on doing it this week,
Oh, okay.
probably Thursday, because it's supposed to be raining.
Oh, the way you just said it, the rainy day would go up there.
Well, I think,
It's starting to rain tomorrow until Monday.
Oh, sir, okay.
I think we're trying to utilize the graders as far as we can, and start raining, we will do something else, that's good.
Right, but this is kind of important too with the water.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a plan for it, so. Then the power up at the church at Georgetown Lake, you know, we have that land up there, and anyway, somebody smacked into the power box, and so they won't turn the power on. They've got it turned off. And it sounds like that's gonna be about $1,200 to fix. But
They don't know who it was.
don't have any idea who it was. And. So the church, they're trenching to put their power in, you know. And they won't turn theirs on either because of that, they wanna pay for a half of it or whatever, but.
Isn't that our obligation to fix it because it's ours?
Yeah.
They don't pay half, we'll take that.
I don't think that's right.
There's a lot of things that aren't right, but we still have.
I mean, it's up to you guys, I mean, it is ours.
Yeah, it is ours. So
You
we're
take half the money from the
We'll
church.
find the guy.
They're wanting to get their, that part done right away, or?
Yeah,
Uh,
Well, I see their lease is coming up today too.
so. What do we wanna do?
Ain't that them?
I think we have to fix it.
We don't have much choice. I don't think.
We don't. We don't have any choice. I don't think, I think I know.
well, I think,
When you say,
Yeah, 11:15.
I thought that was just someone that wanted to rent it for the day, and I haven't seen that
I
agreement.
know it's that guy. Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and fix it. Just reasons.
Well, yeah,
did you call Northwestern Energy? Or did you, are they the ones that have to fix it or?
no, just an electrician.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see it.
They're already working with them, so. We'll just pay for our.
Yeah.
The part that's ours and they pay for theirs.
Anything on solid waste?
Can we mention the speed bumps?
Oh, yeah.
Or have you ordered those for up at the,
Uh,
their, and when do you plan on putting those?
where do you want me to put
I know where you want to put them.
them?
But they're what, there's complaints already coming in about the people speeding, which good weather. So,
Yeah, we said we'd put them on.
yeah. We,
And signage too,
okay, now,
signs to notify. On the speed bump,
Oh, I don't. Know about the sign.
I wouldn't put speed bumps up without signage notifying people there's a speed bump there.
Just
On each
ain't
side of it.
making a big deal. Then we're supposed to take them out, you know, in the winter, then we gotta take signs down too, all that.
That might be a bad liability though, if you put them up there, there is no sign.
Well, he
Yeah,
said-
yeah, there is. I wouldn't put them in, I guess the sign could say. Made through October, I'm not sure when you guys want to have them in there.
So how long do you think the signs will last if they're still on those other signs? You know,
But what happens when they come whipping around that corner on a motorcycle and hit them speed bumps until the kid gets his leg
Yeah.
busted.
Yeah. Yeah, I would put the speed bumps in, we have sign, the signs on each side.
well, shouldn't we have ordered the signs when we ordered the speed bumps? Wasn't that, we already visited and talked about that, knowing that there's gonna be signs.
I never
I'm
knew.
just
any-
curious
I never knew
why.
they were gonna put signs up until
I
they
don't
found.
remember saying signs, I remember talking stop signs, but not signs in front of the speed. bump.
How long would it take signs to come?
I'll call them today and see.
So are they probably have to be made or?
No, they'll have to be made.
Or they'll have speed bump signs. speed bump ahead.
They just. I don't know, I don't know, talk to them.
Do you want like the dates on it or just say speed bump ahead?
Not hard to put dates, well, I guess,
Yeah, speed bump ahead.
what is it gonna be, just a big old.
This section just gonna be,
When did we say last year that we'd put them up? In May, right?
Before, yeah,
Before Memorial Day. but-
Before Memorial Day. Is that gonna happen?
now if we're putting signs up,
So all of a sudden, the sign issue comes up when we talked about. So that's gonna delay it.
Yeah, I don't remember talking about putting signs up, I think it's speed bump, I know we talked stop signs, but not speed bump signs, I remember that. Just all come up,
New issue that just popped up or what?
blames this, I'm not putting it
Well,
on, but he's saying they don't,
Well,
just for like,
yeah, I thought I brought it up when you guys talked about
I
like,
thought-
I'd have to look at the minutes.
I thought
But-
it was mentioned too, but we'd have to listen. to
Yeah,
this.
I just say, yeah, move forward and try to get the signs up. When they,
So probably
you have the speed bump.
get that ordered to Ken today.
yeah, I'll order them today.
I guess we should have addressed this in April to make sure that it got done in May. Which,
there is that, speed sign, trailers up there, so that's up there. They're doing patrols up there, so it's getting attention.
so that trailer is up there.
Yeah.
working?
They must finally got the parts for it, remember,
Yeah.
he couldn't find the parts, or didn't have. them.
Yeah, it was, I think, a struggle getting them.
So what was the issue with bringing it down to 15?
There's signs up there that say 15 miles an hour, but there's no record where the commission actually approved that. You think the sheriff assumed that it was just locals that live up there put the 15 mile an hour sign. So they're not gonna cite anyone for going over, if they're within the 25 up there, then fine. But. So I'm not sure the history on this 15 mile an hour sign.
And I think, did we discuss that we couldn't bring it down to
We have to
15?
go through a whole procedure or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't we have to go through the state or something?
Speed study, yeah. Not through the state, I think you'd have to hire your own engineer and do it. You can, but
Well-
20 to 25 seems reasonable enough for that support.
I'm not deal with that speed bump.
Yeah. The speed bumps take care of the issue.
And they were just on each side of that. Just where them people live. You know, that was the deal.
Mhm.
They seem to think they're gonna come and tell me where to put them in different spots all over, and that's not happening.
So how many speed bumps are we talking about?
Putting one on each side of their property.
I'm just listening to you,
Oh.
I just read it,
I mean,
cause I
Maybe they
guess
should-
no other people.
we should fence off our right of way.
What's that?
Maybe we should fence off our right of way. And get them back. You know, they're mowing right to the road, if they're worried their kids are playing in the street. Get them, fence it back. 15 feet off each side.
I've already had a couple calls or messages that. Well, they're getting some, we want some, so now we're gonna.
Oh, yeah.
Way around the lake. You know what's coming.
Want some what?
Speed bumps.
Definitely, it shouldn't be mowing right to the,
They're mowing
it's
right
not
to the
their
pavement.
property to the road. Yeah,
Well, they're kind of like, you know, if they're mowing, then the kids think.
Yeah.
Out there too.
Making them play
You know,
with it.
Making excuses, but we gotta be careful on that, huh?
Okay, so what we visited on is the main thoroughfare footing. Cause they were flying through, right?
Or in front of their place.
Georgetown, Lake Shore Drive, right?
I mean, we're not
That's
gonna
the county road.
throw them all over the place.
Or county controlled road, that's still Forest Service, right?
Right,
But the county controls it,
so it's still 60 foot right away,
yeah.
and that pretty much goes. quite a ways up to their house. I mean, we had to fence our kids in. I mean, my mom told us to go play in the street, don't get me wrong.
True statements,
I remember telling my kids that, go play the
Well, we're gonna move on to the solid waste, we'll go ahead and get them signed ordered and get that up as soon as we can.
Yeah,
Just pass that on and get it called, or something that's just. Yeah,
knowing that we're addressing it. And, so that maybe they'll stop calling in
gotta do it the right
a little
way.
bit. Knowing, hey, we're on it.
All right, anything on the solid waste?
No, it's got an issue with Jody scales is the big thing, they're weighing a little light. And so we gotta have the people come in and see what's going on with them. We're gonna take a water truck and wash underneath them. And then get those guys to come in. We were up there already a month ago and cleaned out underneath them, but just gonna hose everything up, so it's clean and then come and fix them. And that's gotta be done and to be in compliance within 30 days, so. Other than that. Wait on the well driller to call back with the time. And,
So what kind of welder is it?
oh, that,
I thought you said welder.
well,
Guys like.
Everybody weld now?
I talked to Chuck too. About it, I did call it back, but he went ahead and got that well. So there was cheap, wasn't it?
How much was it?
46 or 77 with the leads and everything, where the other ones wanted close to 7.
So is that back and forth or up and down, whoever needs it, or? what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a county, it's not one spot, it's county. Two people on it.
What-
That wasn't quite sure.
what is it,
Welder.
oh, well,
That's
I thought he said welder and he said well drilled.
okay,
Got
Yeah,
nuns-
I was,
same thing.
I put the well deal on the agenda, once you got.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, okay, no,
she didn't
yeah,
hear,
okay.
so we're good, we're out.
Other than that, that's about all I got.
Okay,
I did come up with some proposed language for the policy on the scales, you ever see that?
for the next agenda item, or this?
Let's see. Well, it's on for, solid waste policy requiring scales on garbage trucks.
Yeah, that's at 9:30.
Oh,
He's here, but.
all right, not there,
Like there, we're just talking about what Yogi has to do and then. Yeah, right, yeah, we're good.
That's it.
Guys, got anything else? Fine?
You ready for me?
Yeah, go ahead. State your name and stuff.
Richard Robinson, John's.
yeah, go ahead.
How's it going? I guess that kind of brought this up, we're kind of worried about people, we're not on the. In there, you get so many pounds, well, it's not showing up, so I mean, we're not. Okay, well, it's like the other day I seen in Drummond, their business and that, when we were taking it up, there's nothing big on there.
In the treasurer's office.
Yeah. And it don't show, they haven't had one thing hauled in,
Who's that?
there's a business in Drummond,
Okay,
I don't want,
okay, all right, yeah.
I just say that it's not coming, so they're dumping and they're,
Yeah, well,
we can't keep tabs on their weights.
well, what we have been doing is all my customers have always been. So all those units that are my customers go on one big block.
But I mean, it's
I
not
mean-
showing if they go over, how do we know?
Well,
That's a.
Basically what we were.
We still have to pay for the dumping.
Right, well, basically what we were doing. I got 600 customers. Okay, at the minimum, I don't know, I probably represent like 3,000 units. Cause I got all the big books. So let's just say for reason, I got 600 customers, that's 600 units. That I dump into. So all my customers basically co-op and they go together. So then they, at the end of the year, they would say, okay, Granite Disposal, could you weigh my trucks when I come in? So at the end of the year, you're gonna come in and say, okay, Granite Disposal use 540 units.
Okay,
Okay,
what you're saying is you have 600 customers and you work it as a co-op.
basically,
Okay,
this
so
is what you guys set up. This isn't what I did.
well, I'm just trying to
Yeah.
understand because I
I want
wasn't
you to
here when
understand that this wasn't something I made up.
we set it up.
Yeah, but it was agreed, yeah, that's.
Okay, so I'm just trying to understand
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Alright,
You say it's a co-op with 600 customers. But what happens when one customer is doing construction? Does that, the 600,
what
that's what we're talking
Okay.
about.
normally. And I can't speak for your company, so I don't know what they do. Normally, if they're my customer, I know Jody will charge. Whatever it is. I don't know what Johnny,
Okay, so what,
if they're my customers and they go to the dump on their
Right.
own, they're being charged.
right, but you are hauling construction stuff to the dump, you're not,
Very little.
okay?
Most contractors do their own thing.
And that's the thing that we're here to discuss is we don't want you hauling,
I'm good with that, I mean.
Yeah.
They need to get their own.
Yeah, well, cause I really don't like to do construction garbage, cause it's nasty. I mean, it's really hard on my trucks, they throw concrete and lumber that. No, I'm just as happy, most of them do their own thing, whatever it is. I don't, if I do construction garbage, it's somebody doing remodel, they're doing their bathroom and they throw the toilet in or something. I really can't control that, girls.
okay, so,
But the big stuff, roofing, major construction, concrete work, that, no. I don't,
okay, you don't have special dumpsters for that then? You just haul in your truck,
Well, my thought would be if you're doing that, then it's pre-weighed. So you know how much it weighs coming in, but.
I could, I mean, if I had a really big guy. Doing something and he said, we really gotta have him come and get it. It's gonna have to be something that I can handle. But if it's close enough, yeah, I would go in the scales and weigh me and then. Make sure my truck's empty. See, that's always the problem. It's gotta be close enough that my truck can be empty, because I can't be running all these miles back and forth, so. But, no, as a rule, I resist construction garbage. I don't really wanna deal with it.
That's what we're looking for.
yeah, that's the problem is that. There was an understanding that. And this, we were wrong, that you had construction dumpsters that you would pick up and. But you don't, and that's the one thing I think that we want is
Yeah, you mean like.
they have to
a
get their own
wall, so-
dumpsters from BFI or something. for their-
Yeah, I don't do it. And that's what I tell them, usually it's
Pre-weighed.
I tell them they gotta go to Ally or call Paul and get his dump truck or something. But
And your
that,
customers understand that it's a co-op deal.
well, yes and no,
No.
everybody's confused out there.
Well, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't understand how you
But,
could-
and because.
I think it was set up that way, cause you said you could not have scales.
Right, and that
That's
was
why
the
we
big,
had to make
big
it that
problem,
way.
and-
I think
and
that's-
I did actually purchase
So,
them.
but then we,
Yeah.
that's why the scales come back up, and we're trying to figure out how, cause there's. We're just trying to figure
Well,
out
it's
what's
just-
coming and going, because we don't know, we just pay every, month of hit,
Yeah.
you know. And we have people in that trailer and there showed no garbage at all. And so, I mean, that's,
Okay, yeah, and, you know. It's been a while now, but I used to go in and talk to Vicky, I'll bring my customer list to Vicky. Then we sit down and we go through. All my customers. And I give her an idea of how much they produce in a year. And we adjust.
I think,
Dumping fee accordingly.
yeah, cause I think we brought that up, we was gonna try to do that yearly, so because there's.
We got messed up with a
And
pandemic.
it's gonna fell behind that. Road, so there's people that are, you know, I mean, he's picking up, we don't know.
Yeah, 'cause I think the last time we did I'm not sure, but I think last time we did this, which was in 2018, just before the COVID thing hit. And when COVID hit, everybody got messed up. And my garbage fluctuated up and down like crazy, people were staying home and generating much more garbage. I thought businesses would drop because they're all closed, no, they all started remodeling. So it was hard to get some sort of okay, this is what we're producing. You know, my biggest producer, your biggest taxpayer would be Rocky K. Branch on Rock, right? You know, and I talked to Vicky last fall about them, I said, how much you charging them, and I. Well, quote me that, maybe she said 30 units, I said they need to go up 10 more units.
And that's where we've had that study and like I said, we're gonna have it done every
Yeah,
year.
we
so
need to do it.
keep up.
And that's what Vicky said, we need to get together to do this. I try to keep, you know, I try to keep everybody off balance, and if I got somebody that's excessive, I don't know how many units I'm gonna pay, because a lot of them. Like ranches, there might be 5 or 6 houses scattered all over, and they all use a dumpster. I don't know, so that's why I need to get with Vicky and say, okay, how many units are on? You know.
Cause there's new businesses like what's, I can't remember, they're saying there's people that are running businesses now out of their places. And they're just paying for a house.
Yeah.
Where it's a business,
That's-
and other people are paying twice. So are
Yeah,
paying
well-
2 units, and now we got, this is coming from.
Like you said, the co-op thing maybe right now is not fair. It's,
The issue is not knowing knowing the weight hit she could be putting on taxpayer, what should be put on your customer, that's the issue, I think. The commission has to eventually sometime look at requiring scales on your trucks, because there's no, the expense is gonna have to be pushed onto the customer versus the general taxpayer.
and
That's
that's,
that's why it's brought up.
yeah,
Now, the problem is scales on the truck. And I explored this, I bought $6,000 worth of scale on my truck, they don't work. They don't address small units, 25 pounds. Understand my trucks are all spring suspension, they're not air suspension. I understand the air suspension trucks are a totally different animal, and you guys put the scales on them and you can tell pretty close.
Scales are good when they work.
Okay, well, that's what I found out, you know, with,
Got a lot of, their name.
what I found with. I put these that were made for spring suspension, which are really hard to find, because that's not the common thing for scales. And, every little thing throws them out. You know, the temperature, because it's supposed to measure the tension on the spring. It's a little sensor on it, and it's glued to the spring, it's supposed to measure that tension. Okay, well, now it's cold, 40 below or whatever, the tension always is good, or the trucks every night. And,
Couldn't they go across the scale though to double check that every morning? And that
No,
wouldn't-
because if, just say you're picking them up garbage on a little bit of a side hill or something, they're not gonna read right. If you got one tire sitting in a hole, they're not gonna read right, they gotta be geared up, it's gotta be completely level. So they'll have a chance to read accurate. And it's pretty damn tough to read 20 pounds. You know. You throw a sack of garbage
Yeah.
and hell, it might not weigh, you might have to throw 5 sacks.
But I don't know if the commission's worried about the 20 pounds, are you worried about? The more
When
that's
you
going to go away?
When I get stuff from the treasurer's office, it's just showing that they're not dumping, but yet I see them picking it up. It just, that's why I started coming up,
Hmm.
cause I see you going to get it a couple, 3 times there, and then, but then there don't show nothing on there.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, this is the whole thing,
So
everybody.
does your truck run across the scales then when you dump? Or do you just go dump?
we have to run to the scales.
So you run across the scales?
So, and the other thing, you know, this is what you were bringing up, weighing in the morning for the work, you know, I live in Drummond, 7 miles. We run a lot of times, the dump will opens at 10, we're out way before. We also run on Mondays and most of the holidays that you guys closed, I'm running. So it's, you know, and it wouldn't work too well to try to balance my scales every day. And just what these guys are saying, that that isn't the problem is my terrain.
And then like. He picks my garbage up. When he goes and dumps, my garbage is in there, it's not gonna show up the treasurer's office either that my garbage is there, it just goes against my unit. But I got paid for it on my taxes.
I
That's what's the
understand how
problem.
that-
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, we know that, it's coming down the line, they're showing the young ones, that's it. And you know, they're going over it, tonnage is going over it, so we have no.
Under that scenario, then they would not be, they could then do another 2,000 pounds, is what you're saying, if they're
Well,
not showing up on.
I guess what I need, you know, 'cause I don't know who's doing what, I know what I'm getting. They need to ask me. What about Scott Avord? He's been hauling a lot of extra, let's go to the question. Haul off. He's been hauling a lot of extra garbage to the dump, you know. How's his units working out? And I'll say, well, he has a bag every week. You know, he shouldn't be, have a problem. Otherwise, if there's people coming into the dump that you think are excessive, communicate with me. I can tell you what they're generating, and then you can make an intelligent decision. We need to raise this guy another unit. I mean, that's what I tried to do now.
But I think that should be on you versus the commission
Yeah.
doing it, because the commission doesn't have the time or resources. to do
Well,
it.
I'll tell you, I don't know when you take your garbage to the dump by yourself. I don't know that. So if you'd asked me how's Wayne doing, I said, well, he's a big garbage man, shouldn't you are.
By kids.
But he should be okay. But I said he should be okay.
So when he takes it in, it's put on his card, so we know what his is coming.
I'm confused. Okay, so just
You're
your process is you have your list. And you pick up your garbage, your time frame, your route, and then you turn it into the treasurer's office. You don't turn anything into the treasurer's office at all. So how does that person know that your garbage was dumped if it's not turned into the treasurer's office at all? You see what I
I
mean?
mean, he's my customer. It's turned in as granite disposal.
That's that goal.
And so it's what you're saying, it's up to the treasurer to go in there and check off each person.
There's no, she might have my customer list, but she don't know who's who. I mean, all the garbage goes in one big pot.
And so if the one big pot where Scott's got 10 garbage cans full that's dumped in and Paul has one or vice versa,
One.
you're both paying the same.
Mhm. Not
No,
You're both paying $125.
everybody is, that's why he does.
so your 10 barrels that were picked up every week, you'd be over your limit before. But then that's okay, you're in the co-op.
Mhm.
But if Scott continued to do 10 barrels every week, I would go to Vicky and say.
But we
Scott's,
have this.
well, yeah, Scott, you know, and I would say Scott's using a little extra. He's been consistent. Sometimes you're doing a little something extra and you throw away the extra. But if it's been consistently through the year on the high side. I would tell Vicky, we need to add a unit.
Like I say, yeah, they're back, and then, like it's brought up. Every,
I guess we should have had the. Vicky in here or Lynn in here explaining how they treat. Your garbage disposal.
The way I understand with Lynn is she says that, once they go over these, she starts charging, but a lot of these.
Well, how in the heck is, they go over that, if it's in a co-op?
The only way they know is if the people taking it in and on their car.
So
When they take
they're
their
charging
own-
and they're going to the dump too.
I don't have many that do that, there's, if you're doing yard cleanup, sometimes they're, oh, we don't wanna put it on brick. Or whatever, cause it's a big mess, so they will take. it. And then, John reports.
Oh.
I'm, what we're doing is not perfect. But it is working. I mean, it's a major headache to try to keep track of every individual customer. If I have to get out of vacuum skills and start weighing them or something, it's gonna add hours if not days on the route.
But then that's the expense that goes on the customer versus the general taxpayer.
Yeah,
It's a fair system.
you just, everybody's paying it, they're all at the same level.
So how does Missoula do it?
Everybody, they don't have counts.
It's all private.
So they pay
Republic.
everything right up. And we pay probably for grizzly disposal, that includes disposal fee and the pickup.
So if somebody there had extra, how would they get charged for that on their private system?
The driver will notify the office and then.
So that's what we're missing there, I mean. We're talking about scales again.
We talked about this for years, we never get anything.
But what you're saying is, I mean, in kind of summarize this, is that you can't do scales on your vehicle because it's,
They're just,
doesn't work.
the scales are not designed for that. And then the other problem that we would run into eventually is that you cannot certify a scales match. And if you start charging people based on my weights, you're probably gonna get a lawsuit. The state of Montana's weights and measures says you cannot do that.
But you could always check it against with the certified scale of the.
Okay, your logger types, what about log trucks? I mean, they haul, what is 20 below? They haul on uneven ground.
Different type of scales. Than what he's talking about. On log trucks are a regular pad, electronic pad scale. Which is. Just different, and you gotta learn how to read them. When you're loading low logs and you're siding on a little bit, they're gonna read heavy. If you're loading downhill, you gotta. Load, plan on throwing 2,000 pounds back, depending on the incline. Or adverse, which either way, and. You just figured out what you're talking about. Loading 25 ton on it.
Okay, so what's happening here is. You haul. You cross the scale. And then you turn it into the treasurer's office, or it goes into your account as how many tons?
Yeah, we're selling.
And you're allowed how many,
I couldn't tell you,
so
no.
then,
So that works as long as the customer knows it's a co-op.
Yeah.
And that they are going across the scale,
Yeah.
and then he notifies the treasurer of every customer. is
because
updated.
apparently all the customers aren't even getting hit. That are your customers, haven't hauled any, there's nothing going against their account.
Most of my customers do not go to the.
It doesn't matter, I mean,
But
your scales should,
Yeah, but she doesn't go through and be done.
it still should be going on their account. Because I have 2,000 pounds. I don't have you, I take it to the dump
Right.
myself,
But.
cause I don't feel I wanna pay double, more or less, I'm sorry, but I told you
Okay,
that
so
years ago.
basically we'll go back to the 600 units. Everybody has said, that's my customer said, okay. Brand disposal.
Everybody should be deducted, maybe an average amount showing that everybody's deducted from the state, because when I go to the dump. It goes with my weight against my 2,000 pounds, and some people in there are not even, it's not going against their weight, so there's no uniform thing going on here. Is what I'm
It
saying,
is because of my weight.
But she's saying there could be some double,
Yeah, but
double dipping
they could be
on.
hauled in more than their 2,000.
yeah,
We don't know.
It's fair up to the point of, yeah, that it should be deducted, that average should be deducted from the
Yeah.
customers.
every,
And,
the average, it should be averaged out and deducted. From each customer that is your customer,
Well,
it should be, it has to be fair.
That's when,
But she
I don't know how, she's not my route, she's not my weight. So she would have to do that when we're in. I
If
don't
you have your customers, then it could be easily done, but you'd have to have the customer list.
So you're telling me that Missoula has different trucks and so they can't weigh?
Missoula don't weigh.
I mean, the private company.
The hauler and the dump side are the same people, Republic owns both. They don't weigh their truck.
No,
They weigh the trucks when they come in, but they don't
Yeah,
weigh the individuals. But I mean, if you set a couch out by your debit card. And if they pick it up, it all depends on who your drivers are, if they pick it up, they would notify the office, charge. Your role or address, usually it's address, if they can. An extra $10. Or if the cans are excessively heavy. They will say charge them, and that's because they don't want to lift. It has nothing to do with the weight, everything goes the same.
like anything over long, when it just gets left and then you gotta haul it up, and then that's the only way they know on your car.
okay.
So like,
There's two outfits in Missoula now.
Well, two haulers, but Republic owns the landfill.
Grizzly goes to Helen and Deer Lake.
Really?
so like Spokane. They have their dumpsters. And they pick it up every week, but then when you take a load to the dump, you pay for it. It's a pay as you go type thing, but they also pay for their dumpsters. When they get the green bin and the brown bin and the recycle bin. For a fee, for their on their taxes. And then if you have a load to take to the dump, you have to pay for it. You're on a scale. Which you can't do that here.
That's.
Yeah,
And that's just like I said, what we want to perfect. As long as what my customers produce does not exceed what they pay for.
But we don't know that.
We're
Well,
talking about it gross.
Yeah,
I mean, you got my weight tickets.
that should be averaged and deducted.
Yes.
And
you're
You're right.
understandable,
Yeah.
but apparently it's not.
Well, yeah, I don't think she's recording, I mean, she just, that's not a disposal, she deducts a lot.
Wonder if there's something in the system that you can just set up where it hits an average. That's how
Yeah.
that's how they have to do it.
Yeah,
Well, once again, it'll be somewhat difficult because this guy's got 1 unit. And this guy's got 3 units. And you got them all over, yeah, I mean, you got units all over, you got the 1 uniters, you got the 2, 4s, 5s. You know, then you got the really big ones, I mean, I don't know, the schools are really huge producers, the hospital's a huge producer. I don't know what their units are and stuff, but. I mean, we tried, like I said, we tried it, anybody we feel gets excessive, we let you know and say, raise the rates.
We're in there, it don't show nothing. What I'm
Well,
trying to
I
say.
don't understand.
It doesn't forever. I know you're busy and, you know.
I don't know what you want me to do, because things, I mean, when we used to do those route shoots. And I just put 8 for the yard, 8 back then when we measured. And we just average $8,
Yeah.
8 for the yard.
Yeah.
It was just paperwork. And Lynn hated it because she had to go into her computer then, leave the yard, leave the yard, leave the yard. And it was just.
Well, there's probably something in the software. That. Maybe,
But if you have the total customer list, you have that total weight, that's not, I don't think that's. That could be done with a calculator,
average it out.
yeah. But you got 600 of them, there should be a computer program.
Well, you could take a list
Okay,
from last year and look and see how many tons he hauled for last year. And then take his list and add up how many units, total units that you had. And see if he was under or over. Not gonna say who was over, but at least the guy would have an idea where as a whole it stands, you know?
It has to be uniform, it has to be fair. It seems to me it's not fair right now. But I think here's the main thing that we were worried about is that you were hauling construction. And the homeowner that you were hauling construction garbage was not getting charged. And you state plainly that you do not haul anybody's
Yeah,
big
you know, as far
dumpster
as,
construction
yeah, I
type.
don't have no big dump, I mean, I got like a 6-yard dumpster, but those are all. The businesses want them in the worst way,
So like tires and stuff, you haul away tires.
if they send them out, yeah, every time.
Those are good.
Yeah, this.
I guess the main thing is that we're just gonna have to see, go back on the. How many units, like Paul said, look it up, and then when we saw the stuff and hauling. Like when you gotta make extra trips to dump their dumpster, we need to know, but it's not getting told into it, so everybody's paying for it. And I know you're saying co-op, I understand that, but when it comes back down to, like that one day, you're gonna get 2 in one day at one spot. And then, and it was plumb full of metal and everything. And then just go up and, I mean, it's not good. They need to get their own. If they're gonna construction and do tear down stuff, they need to.
Well, like, yeah, this could go on and on and on.
I mean, we run into the same issue now.
We have no communication right now. We haven't. It's gone out the door and we don't know who's what or not. You never came and we never asked. And people are calling, complaining big time.
I'm getting a lot of complaints about people using their dumpsters now. We're starting to put locks on them because.
And I'm getting, yeah,
Oh,
I
wow.
just got people calling, well, last week it was busy, people calling, complaining, people are. Running businesses out of home places and not being charged, and it should be 2 units instead of 1, so I don't know what.
I don't know how you would nail them, no. How you nail
Well,
the business.
It's in the policy what the average is, so when they're using more than it's your communication, they're,
He don't know.
yeah.
He can't sort their business from that,
But
that's why they should have 2 units, what she was saying.
the definite construction material could be not mixed then if you're taking it, I think that'd be that'll take care of that issue.
Then that comes all back on the tip, and then we're paying for the tip.
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess we'll look into it and you'll go in there and give them that, and you're gonna have to sit down with her. That's the way it has to be.
Yeah, I think what we need to do is discuss it with them to see, because you're looking at. Like you said, if they're running their business out of their home and they should be 2 units instead of 1, and they're only paying for 1 unit, so somebody else is covering for them.
And that's what they were.
And so it has to be averaged out, like businesses, you haul their garbage, and they have 3-4 units. So how do you average that out? Is that, or are they only getting charged 1 unit? I mean, it's just not. There's no. It's not fair. It doesn't sound like it's fair.
Without
I have an
communication.
County buy me out and
Well, we don't want to fight it out.
just take it.
That's why
We're
you
not
say
in
you
garbage
have to
business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm 69 years old,
Ain't gonna happen.
I'm just trying to,
I'm not saying you're not doing a good job, I'm just trying to.
Oh, it's a good, yeah, you're providing a good service.
Yeah.
You're not trying to, That,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's-
just trying to make it fair.
Well, I understand that.
We can improve.
The less hassle I have, I can't keep. I just hired a guy, I just let him train. But,
That's-
and the trouble is on the garbage stuff, it takes time to get these guys to know the routes, it's just,
Well, we're looking at tourist garbage that is on the taxpayer.
yeah,
We are.
Yeah.
And it's purely on the taxpayer because the town of Phillipsburg does not, I mean, they get
Yeah.
to dump their garbage free.
they're good.
So that's bringing. I mean, it's,
I mean, I drove back, go back to Sunshine Station, he's got signs plastered all over his big dumpster, private, keep out, don't touch this thing. It's video monitored, we're gonna press it up to the best we can.
They say you're gonna have them do it or picking through it.
yeah, it's still kind of a
Well,
problem.
I guess we'll go ahead, because we're
Yes.
running out of time.
Well,
We'll have you go in and give them that, maybe go over it with them and
Okay.
see what. I guess then we can look and see. Once he gets them into there and then can bring it back into us and we can have another talk on this.
More dutiful on your part to turn in. So that, you know what I mean?
okay. So, I guess we're running into, what are we pertaining to, is how much construction there? But, sometimes somebody will just like take the foil, or,
Well, I don't think it's that, it's just that when you do it like 2 or 3 in a couple days. And they're hauling it all out and then it don't show nothing on theirs at all, and then everybody else pays. for it.
If it's a dumpster full of
Yeah.
construction material, don't mix it with regular
Yeah.
house
yeah.
garbage.
Yeah, you're throwing metals and garbage together. and it's all
Elena
going in the
has-
dumpster.
Elena has a comment.
Go ahead, Elena.
okay, so I will
Hold
go
it, hold it,
ahead and.
hold it, hold it. Go ahead, Elena.
Okay, can you hear me? Because I'm having problems with my mic.
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Something I was confused about this too. I bring my garbage down to Phillipsburg, okay? And one time my neighbor went to Phillipsburg with garbage, but they also have their garbage picked up. And I said, I thought you have garbage pickup. And she said, oh yeah, but we can bring this and dump it ourselves and it's free. So the people think, I don't know if they're getting charged with the co-op or whatever they're talking about in bringing garbage to the dump. But as long as they're under the 2,000 pound limit, they don't have to be charged for it. And I think you should really consider what you're doing here and making decisions before you even talk about the leases with the 2 towns, especially Phillipsburg on the dump. Okay, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
But one of the things you talked about in that proposed lease is that the special events. Well,
Yeah,
people will
that's
pay
not-
for their own, so that potentially can take care of that mass
Yeah,
amount.
that
during,
comes
uh,
up here, it won't wait till we get to it, they're here.
So
So,
I
yeah,
didn't-
you can take that in and we'll
I
figure out.
didn't hear Elena's comment, I'm sorry.
It was basically the issue you were having where you're a customer of Grant Disposal but then bring in garbage to, and whether that's, you have to give them your card and it's subtracted. But also the information should be, out there where they're already subtracted their average. to
Yeah,
take
yeah,
that issue.
Yeah. Well, and it should be, and it's not.
But it is.
I mean, that's plain, but it
Yeah.
isn't. Because there's people that are your customers that don't have any garbage take subtracted. That's a given. So
Yeah.
it's not getting averaged in the treasurer's office.
Yeah, that's right.
You're hauling their garbage, but it's not being subtracted. That's the problem.
It's subtracted off of me.
But it has to be. You don't pay for all their units
No.
there, so.
Okay, I'll go do something there. I don't.
But she needs, what the county needs to know is the customer's name and then what their average is for the year, basically,
Yeah.
that's what you're talking about, right? And so, but keeping the customers updated throughout the year would be good, but that average would be basically an end of the year. What
Yeah.
you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Those
Well,
are the important numbers.
There
to
needs to
figure.
be, there needs to show that they did indeed haul garbage. When it shows they have their 2,000 pounds and didn't use it.
I think that we'll move on and he can go in there and talk to them and then we have table this and get a little more information on what we need to get. Taylor, thanks. Thanks.
I got one more quick thing, not on the garbage.
Thank God.
You know them. That junk material we had to bring out of the park,
The what?
all the old millings and the dirt stuff that we had when we cleaned that stuff up down Valence Pond, we still got a pile of that stuff there. We gave a bunch of it to Butch Breedy. I've got another guy that'll take the rest of it. Is it okay to give it to him?
What is it?
It's that, when we had to go back and re-scrape the ground because the guy wasn't happy with it.
Oh, no, yeah.
We got a pile that like getting cleaned up and he'll take it. So,
Yeah.
good to give it to him? Okay.
I think that would be a judgment call on your part. It doesn't, if it's just junk.
If we can't use it for anything.
It was that, with
Yeah.
big chunks.
Got it and stuff.
Has no value, he's doing you a favor getting. rid of
Yeah,
what you're
that's no
saying.
value, that's at all.
Yeah.
It's too much dirt in it.
It costs us more to try to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're good on that?
Yep.
All right, well, we're gonna move on to the damn timber. Hey, you gotta stay. Paul, did you talk to the mayor or look at this drainage thing? Or well, I just didn't wanna make sure that we had to plow or something, that.
Well, yeah, when they do, we talked about that last week, obviously the drain's gonna have to be below. Or it won't drain, so. You gotta be able to plow over it.
I didn't know, we talked to, he was gonna talk to the road, your guy. I just wanna make sure in case we go with it. Alright, thanks.
No, it's.
Next time, yeah.
Maybe.
Alright, we're into the damn timbers report.
No, I heard about some.
64-29-18, we're 3.8,
Oops, sorry. When I started, but sorry, I unplugged it, maybe that.
we're 3.84 below full floor.
Sorry. It's
Right here. Hey, morning, Paul.
What do you wanna do? Your birthday.
my birthday tomorrow. They said I could. Decide.
Still letting out 60?
Yeah.
So
We're still doing
it's
60.
serious inflow.
We're not full,
Well,
okay, but we're close.
Gonna hit it.
But if it rains.
We're gonna hit it.
So if it rains, it's gonna fill really fast.
Good, it's Memorial Day, you know what happens on Memorial Day?
People put flowers out.
No,
They do that,
You get it
You're
down
gonna
there.
run or put a snow.
yeah.
Average inflows are about 100. 6. My thought is let's go up as high as you possibly could legally.
Here's my question. If we did lower it, to fill it faster, or would we keep it the same? Lower it to like 40, so it'd fill faster and then it'd be full, and then we wouldn't have any complaints from people.
No, because then we could get caught. See, then it could rain,
We don't want.
it could rain 4 inches
We don't want. to
and then it's way up over. That's what we're trying.
That's why we kept it down the way it was, just so we don't, if we lower it, we're gonna have problems. If we low,
If we what?
if we lowered it to 40.
Oh, no, we can't.
We can't.
Okay, I'm just,
No,
just a question, because I'm just trying to, so if we kept it at 60 and it's still, or you want more?
I'd go as high as good. It's gonna,
As high as what,
as high as you possibly could legally. Go up.
right now?
Yeah, I think we should go.
Yeah.
Just because
Well, we
just because I don't trust it because they say that a little bit of rain. And I've seen a little bit of rain turn into. I don't.
And we're at, well, Look at where it fluctuated here, where it was really high up here and then it went kind of back down.
Where do you wanna go to?
What do you think?
I go 75.
But
A,
all of it's a temporary modification, so we need to go to the agencies, but I'd say you commission make the motion and decision, and then we'll go to the agency.
okay, so go to the agencies. When do we have to go to the agencies? Anytime we change it or anytime inflow? We're trying to match inflow with outflow.
The FERC order right now is 30 CFS, so anything above that is a temporary modification. The agencies approved the 60 for 1 week, but you guys said that one week at a time. You could go up to 75 and we present it to me sending emails out to Forest Service, Fish and Wildlife Service, and Fish, Wildlife Parks.
So is 75 enough? Or do you think 80?
Seriously,
Seriously,
guess on how much it's gonna rain. I mean,
I go at 75.
okay,
I-
75.
I won't argue with 70.
but you think 80?
No.
No? Okay. What do you think?
Up to you guys.
Would 80, would going up 5 more be detrimental or? Is
No,
it a chance
Not
that
for a
we,
week, I don't think, but then we'd have to look at it, see what the forecast is next week, and then,
Which we
you know,
do.
I'm just worried about when it's gonna turn off.
Yeah.
If it, you know, cause if we did it now. If we stayed at 4 inches and then all of a sudden it just turned off raining, I don't think we will. But we might, but
What's your idea? You know, we're gonna fill. I don't think there's no stop on that. So. And then it's, you know, every year we don't have to go right. We can't. Do this.
75?
yeah, just for a week, I mean, 75, 80, I mean,
If we start getting pile rain, we can always call. We can take, you know,
so, and go up to what?
whatever, try to keep up with the volume coming in.
But then we let out too much and we'll wash out.
I want to kind of go with 75, and if we have to go up for more, we're not really, if we dump too much at one time. Down below is gonna pay for it. Right now, it's out. We're getting all these other snow.
So the irrigators opened their gates last week or?
They're starting to irrigate down Lower Valley.
So when did the gates open officially for irrigators?
It depends on them and what, if they're trying to get a fertilizer on or whatever, like, you know, we don't know where they're. Like,
Oh, they can open any
yeah,
time.
they can
Oh,
start, then they can only take so much out of each little spot, they have water rights, if they can take 20 here, whatever, we don't.
yeah, understandably.
So.
But right now, they're getting plenty of water, which they. Being
If
sick.
they're,
Last
they're
year,
taking it, I mean, it's there, I think they're taking it, because it, I mean, it's going in the ground, but it's soaking up fast.
So every inch of rain yesterday, it said, right?
Yeah.
At least down Lower Valley, and you get up here too.
No, I didn't.
No,
I didn't.
it
I
rained.
got 2 10s all weekend.
It rained.
Yeah, we. So, I think, I don't know, I'll make the most go at 75 for sure, because I don't want to go too much more, because. Some of these guys are still, and then, they're working on the fish trap there, White's Hill, what do they call that? I mean, that's put pressure in them too.
Well, I was second it, but if it started pouring down rain, let's start. And
We're gonna have to. do it.
I'll,
All right. Any public comment on that?
Elena has a question.
so we'll have to get a hold of the dam tender guy.
Jared.
Go ahead, Elaine. What, just a second.
Thank you.
So-
Clarification here. Clarification here. You have, you mentioned the agencies. I believe you said 3 agencies were notified. Now, I don't remember FERC. Isn't FERC supposed to be notified if there's any variance as to what you're doing? And I know definitely that the homeowners association is supposed to be notified. And I know that the irrigators are supposed to be notified, not that they just have control over everything, because when they first started the licensing, the homeowners association made a big stink about the licensing and FERC and who ran the water and controlled it. And so did the irrigators. I remember going to a lot of those meetings. And it was like a balancing act, trying to keep the irrigators happy, the dam happy, and the homeowners association. They even filed charges. So, I mean, these are all people that should be involved with this, and we're just talking about the three agencies, and I believe whoever else is there is Paul Talon, who represents Flint Hydroelectric.
Okay, thank you for your comment.
Oh, you're very welcome. I hope you consider it. Thank you.
So for the temporary modification agreement, you only need the three agencies, but everyone was, in on the email, homeowners, irrigators,
Same.
all the parties are in on email. We did notify FERC. FERC does not have to, so as long as the agencies agree to the temporary modification, they don't have to agree to it. They just want notice. And so the notice was sent to them.
We're doing it right. Thank you.
So
All in
Jared's gonna have to
favor?
Jared will have to do this with the gate valve, right?
I've been in touch with Jared quite a bit. He's called with questions and things like that. So, and I'll give him,
Where does he live?
Maxwell.
I'll give him an idea how much to go up and then give him how to monitor it. He still doesn't have fees or charts or anything. So
We asked for them last week.
he might have fees by now, but I know he doesn't have charts. The minor out there.
Bailey's not here, but she was sending that out. I guess we could call that guy. Brandon, I'll call him, find out. Anyway, in the motion. All in favor?
Is Brad on?
I can't tell, is this,
This is Brad Lehrman. I'm on. Can you hear me?
yep, we can.
Go ahead, Brad.
Okay. Yeah, I just have one quick comment. I would kind of recommend that you guys request a report from Todd Blythe just to, this time of year is where things are really starting to change, obviously. And I would probably get a report from him so like next week you guys can look at that and have some data. Because for instance, the no-tell site at Peterson Meadows is, had about 15 inches snow water equivalent at max, and it's down to 5 inches now. And Warm Springs, I think, is only down from 25 to 20. I'm not looking at my computer right now, but that's what I saw yesterday. And so, but the low elevation snow above Georgetown is definitely probably 2/3 gone, and the high elevation stuff is still there. But I think it'd be good. I mean, I see what you mean. There could be rain, but we don't know for sure. And it'd probably be good to get a report from him and have an idea. That model can be helpful with these kind of situations. So
Send that out, and we'll have Joey have him send us a report, Brad.
Yeah, I agree with. Brad.
okay.
And what did Brad say?
Get a hold of Todd, White, get
Get
it
a
all.
hold of it. It's
We need
questionable
to
on the
get these
snowpack.
fixed.
I don't know why they're not working. I have no idea, because it says they're on 100%.
Anyway, so yeah, we'll get a report for next week. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Happy birthday.
See ya.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Go ahead, come on up. This is a solid waste lease agreement with the town of Philipsburg. Sorry about that. Behind. That's all right.
Hello.
Hey. I see they just want to go to a 5-year, but every 5 years and renew it. And how's that? Did I read it wrong?
That was what they wanted. You folks talked about 20. And I told it to them, and so they're not in total, unison, but enough to say, yeah, 20.
20 's okay.
Yeah, that's okay, that particular one. And I know he had referenced the special events situation. I think that probably would be best. The language for that, I would ask that Blaine examine that and insert that language, and then I would run it by those guys.
So the draft had it in
Yeah,
there.
we have it, 'cause I got the old one.
Oh, I want me to,
Well,
see,
so let's see, that's, thanks, what number is that under? Policy assistant?
I don't,
I have a lease agreement here and I just scrawled it underneath, rent. Number 4, I don't know why I put it there, but, I just referenced special event because we talked about that.
yeah, let me go print that latest language,
Okay.
I thought they had it.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay, and then, they talked about possibly removing the reference to rent, since there is no rent, but they're fine with leaving it in there if we just put 0.00 on there as the rent charge.
Yeah, the only thing I see though is that it actually is rent because it's in kind.
Mm-hmm.
So there, that is the allow the dumping there is actually
In kind.
is in kind rent, which is allowed.
Okay.
But it's not a huge point to even, yeah,
So should it be mentioned in kind then, or is it already mentioned?
I don't know that I would actually have the language in kind, but in kind can be.
Yeah, and this was, I think this is one of those specifics that, you know, a couple of different individuals were like, well, we're numbers people and we would like 0.00 referenced in there. So I, you know, if you guys, that's.
Yeah, it's not a. I don't think it's a big enough issue to work, I think maybe added, I mean, it's not.
Okay.
Not a-
There was an interesting question. And I have my personal opinion about it. Yeah, you gave me a policy.
But I don't know if that's the latest
That we have,
draft that you have. Cause I had language on the, special events,
So,
people that are sponsoring those will pay for their own
yeah,
garbage.
is that, what term would that be under? Like, what number?
I believe it was under. This is under rent.
And shall not pay rent, but shall allow partial rent from the town of Oak to reasonably on solid waste, non-hazardous, non-toxic material as reasonably historically allowed. That's under number 4. then.
Yeah, I don't think this is the latest version that I have. So
Yeah. I
I'll go
think-
print it. Yeah, sorry about that.
That's
so
okay.
we don't have the latest
I
either?
don't think so. I'll go print it. Multiple copies.
Why'd you give it to us?
We were dealing with a lot of graphs, I think.
Yeah,
so-
exactly.
Okay,
I think I have 3 drafts.
I'll just do
All
it.
right. Okay. Okay. Yeah, never completely sure. I guess I'll wait and ask this question when the attorney gets back.
That's what you're talking about.
So I guess my question is, are you guys gonna proceed with this?
I think we have to.
Okay,
That's why I was hoping Paul would talk to your guy, because I wasn't quite, I always want everybody on the same page, you know.
well, sure,
This is between us, not these others that are coming in.
right, yeah, and I didn't, I don't know where it's at. You guys are gonna. I ran. My public works guys looked at the design and they're like, well, as long as we don't get hooked up on it, I wanted to know, will this go into our storm drain, is the way it's sitting there, said, yeah, that's not a problem at all. That it, as long as it doesn't get hooked with a or whatever, but as far as it being functional. Their opinion was, yeah, the water will go where it's supposed to go, it's gonna be in the works. Where we, as indicated to you, we're, the town is, more than willing to be a part of this. And, but we want to make it clear that, this is a maintenance issue for the building. And so in terms of future maintenance of the drain, that would be the obligation of folks that run the building maintenance would take care of it. And that's sort of what we're assuming. Yeah. So, the public works department has their opinions about stuff and, everybody's got a different idea on what they would do. But, there was no negative, like, no, this isn't gonna work, nothing like that. They're like, well, if they're gonna do that, yeah, and I just wanted to make sure that it was gonna be put into our regular storm flow, which they said, yeah, that's what will happen. So, since it happens on the surface and
That's why I wanted Paul to make sure to talk to them, in case we come up, that they know what's going on, so they know not.
right, and of course, I'm in the process of trying to find a public works director, if you will, and that's moving at a snail's pace. But certainly, right now, I usually go with Ed Roseman because he has the most knowledge of the physical plant and the way that it goes. He's got so if Paul had any questions regarding moving forward on it, then I would just direct them to Ed. And let him know that that would be the guy you would talk to. As it stands right now. I did notice on the way out, he asked if we had replaced Sam and the answer to that is that.
Yeah, but he can try to call him.
Yeah, no, he's not. Yeah.
Get my weed. Right over here.
We just started talking about that very.
Uh-huh. What do I think? I think something needs to be done, that's all I think.
Yes, they
But-
know, but that's what we have now.
What's the plan so far? What do you think that going on?
Well, basically, I was provided with the design from you folks. And I checked with my public works department and they were of the opinion that this wouldn't end up being a negative at all. And that assuming it worked out was designed, that it would probably be fine. And so that's kind of where it was left. And I had the contractor come in and talk to me a couple of times, but I wasn't sure what was happening up there. And that's why we're here now to make sure that we're all on the same page.
You didn't see the design?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I got it downstairs in my pallet. I didn't bring it up with me. Where he's gonna put the drains in and we have to plug it out there so we can drop some heat tape down in there so that it does actually stay thawed enough to drain down to their main drain.
Right.
And that main drain that's out there, cities freezes up all the time.
Yeah, I said that our whole drainage system is a work in progress, obviously, and we're doing our best to try to get on top of that and so, those are that's just the fact of where we live basically. But as indicated, it's our street. I hate to say us and you, but it's your building, our street. We're fine with maybe chipping in a little bit monetarily. And then if you guys are fine with the plan, then my expectation would be that you guys would invoice us for percentage that we would pay.
Good.
And so the boys, the work city crew are fine with the plan then?
Yeah, they want to be clear about it. Yeah, it'll end up going where it's supposed to go, but this is, and I agree with this, it's a maintenance issue for building. So from the maintenance, once the drain was put in, the maintenance of the drain would be the responsibility of. Right, as long as that was clear, they were like, yeah, do it, so. In their opinion.
Mhm.
It's a plan.
Well, I think it's a good plan. I mean, something's gotta be done, like you say, but, I don't see any issues with it. We just have a lot of work to do with them. As far as we get plugging put out there, so we can put them taking it to keep it alive. And whatnot, yeah.
Any other comments?
I just came if you got questions for me.
Yeah, on this plan.
Pretty good, just kind of make sure, yeah, run that power up alongside here where we were, whatever the plan. I don't know, it's from me.
Our participation monetarily will be 50% of this, not above this estimate, you're going with the estimate. That's what the council wants to do, so if you folks are good with that, we, like I said, you can get going on the process and. And the bills come in.
Yeah, I think that was the plan, it's 50%, so.
What percent? 50/50?
What's the estimate?
12,820. 12,920, sorry. So entertain a motion.
So we're gonna accept that.
They're good with it, their guys are good with it.
Make a motion that. This is your final. Estimate.
How old is it?
Well, it's as old as when you turned it in.
I thought I dated it on top. They're telling me steel's going up every month, so, you know, we need to jump on it if we're going to, or I've got to redo it, reprice.
Well, if you're saying it's gonna change, then I guess we need a new one.
Well, I don't anticipate it to change if that's a month old, then steel's going up, if it's not a month old.
April 3rd.
We're probably okay. Month and a half.
Yeah.
I doubt it's going up much, I think we can live with that.
Favor? Hopefully carry the time, we'll go ahead and go. Get raining.
Okay.
Okay, so. You're good with that, okay, so then get back to the leaves thing. I see the language right here, under rent, thank you for that,
That the zeros to that.
Yeah,
But the rest
yeah.
of it's already there.
awesome, that's, you know, a little incidental thing, but it'll. Make those folks happier. And then we will present this to them,
Okay,
yeah, I had another question in this, It says in the agreement that the town of Phillipsburg and, Marshall Creek Ranch will have. What do you want to call it, these services or whatever,
yeah.
One of their companies was curious, what if the ranch subdivides? Did the does the subdivided property get free services, like?
Well, it's a ranch as in the business, so it would not be the, yeah.
That was my.
Yeah.
that was kind of-
Yeah.
Yeah, see, and I thought, well, it's Marshall Creek Ranch Inc. That's
Yeah.
the entity we're dealing with, and if that were to occur, these would be separate entities, so
Yeah.
I just wanted to verify that and.
Yeah, as the subdivision went into effect and ownership went into effect, each unit would.
Yeah.
Each lot would be a
A
new
unit.
unit.
A individual unit, okay, just for clarification, they asked me to ask that, that's kind of what my assumption was that.
Do you want, are we good on this then? You want me to sign it so you can take it back, so we can finally get moved on with this?
I wait until I mean, you could, the commission could do a motion now to approve it, but, yeah, so if you,
Yeah.
hasn't been approved by the town.
Yeah, and then I can take it, we'll put it on our next meeting agenda. Because they're gonna wanna read the language. The stuff that's been,
Wait on the sign in it.
that's totally up to you, I mean, I can tell them that, yeah, as it sits now, the consensus is the county's good with.
I mean,
And, you know, I can
So the
say,
county could approve it and then the
yeah,
town would approve it. And then
So-
the whole thing would go into effect.
yeah, if they have,
Because we're-
if signed and they have changes, then they could do that, you can revise it still.
yeah, okay, that's the only thing I want is to be
Yeah.
able to, I mean, I'd like to be able to sign it right now, but I can't do that.
Yeah.
So there, you know, I don't expect a lot, but there might be some piggy stuff or something. But I certainly want to get the process.
I'd entertain lease agreement motion. Just for the county.
I move to agree to the lease agreement with the city.
I will second it.
Public comment. Being none, all in favor?
Oh, Elena has a question.
Elena.
Thank you. Again, the way this is conducted is amazing, how the meeting is conducted. But anyway, as far as the public is concerned, I'm looking at the lease. I see the lease which is online, and I see the lease that I got yesterday in the email. And neither one of them says draft on the lease itself, and this is confusing. And on page 1, on the term, I don't know if this is corrected or not. It says the term of the lease shall be 5, and then after it 50 in brackets, and then years. So that should have been corrected if it hasn't. I don't know. This is what I'm looking for. The other thing that I have to bring up is number 4, the rent, where it brings out Marshall Creek Ranch in the town of Phillipsburg to reasonably dumped solid waste shall not pay. Well, okay, solid waste says non-hazardous and non-toxic material. You just had a big conversation with, I guess it was the garbage pickup man, and discussing construction. Well, does that mean that either one, the town or Marshall Creek, can dump construction stuff? I don't see that, say anything about that. So I don't know. Again, and I made this point a few times. If it's a draft, there should be a designation, a big draft across the paper. And then the correction should be indicated, just like the legislature does. You know it's been corrected and what's going to be discussed. This is why things get missed. And then 3 years down the road or 5 years down the road, well, when was this agreed upon? And what was the change on this? Or we don't have it. That's all I'm saying. I mean,
Okay, thank you.
I know that certain people say we've got to get on base. We all have to get together. Well, this is one of the reasons why nobody knows who's on first and who's on second. And I'd like it considered, not just thanks for your comment, being on to the next thing. Thank you.
I think in the, actually the title of the document, it said draft, so it doesn't say on the document. But the, that was an older version, there's an updated version. The only changes to it were the term, and then that language about the special events. Were the two main changes from the, so that people doing special events will pay for their own.
We've said this every week.
And that, was that something that was good with the town?
Well, it's good for me. We had a preliminary discussion about that possibility. They said, they being the council said, well, let's look at what the language that the county comes up with. I can tell you what, and I'm now reading this, there may be a bit of a pushback on Flint Creek Valley Days, since that is sort of the town's sponsored event versus all these other 501c3 nonprofit events, be it Rotary concert, secondary concert, whatever. So
we last talked about, we understood that.
okay.
So I didn't have it in here,
Yeah.
so I mean, we could, that could be,
Yeah, okay, as long as I'm all about having this up front
Yeah.
in the beginning, so that my sailing is much smoother down there. I don't see anything really outrageous. Per minute, so.
All in favor?
I,
That's very bad. So they agree that this.
Yeah. okay. Can we move to the GRU? That was another one, or?
Yeah, we can go to it.
Well, that's why I brought Councilman White here. He's sort of up to speed on this stuff, from a semi-professional standpoint, and so he may have a little bit more insight, but I will say this, that I did reach out to the fire chief and told him generally, in general terms, like, yeah, the county's thinking about wanting to put a GRU here. Drummond's got one, they're gonna do one down there, take care of that part of the valley. The idea being that would probably be stationed at the ambulance shed. When, you know, just in very general terms, what do you think? And can you provide me any, a list of names of individuals who might plug into this? Because obviously that's the weak link in the chain, which led us to where we are anyway. And his response was, well, he didn't send me a list of names. He was like, yeah, good idea. Essentially, that was it. So I didn't get any substantial feedback from the fire chief. And so again, I guess it's just the council thinks it's a good idea. We don't know necessarily how it would work here because of the human resource factor. Any place heck to go down this pipe and then have another one sitting there that nobody can ban. So I guess at this time you went.
I think that's where it's coming from right now. People are saying, well, they're not going on the calls now, so why are you guaranteeing that they're gonna go on these quick response calls? People are starting to like, you know, wherever we have it gets to sit, we're gonna have another rig sitting.
Whole thing-
Where this is the stuff.
Well, what we're doing, we're selling supposedly selling the one of the ambulances in Drummond.
Yeah.
And then this would just take that place.
There's never gonna be a guarantee, but if people are willing, that to me, that should be the standard of people. They can never give you 100% guarantee.
Well, no, they can't, because
Yeah.
they work, you know, they gotta make their own living too, but I'm just saying, this is what people are asking is, it's not working out, how do you think this, you're gonna go spend $100,000, and then what? Is it gonna sit too? This is where,
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be brought up, I talked to Frank a little bit, he's supposed to be gone, I called him, see, but last week he couldn't because he was working, that's the thing. And like they had that bad rep down there, and it's just eagle win, but I mean.
To me, I think the overall understanding I had was it's the supplement potentially, the supplement Eagle, so it's not gonna be 100%. But ultimately, then the commission has to decide. If you have enough assurity from people that are willing to do it to buy another.
Well, all depends on the volunteers, obviously, and if there's no volunteers, then we won't do it, but. You know, I was thinking about this more, you know, especially with Eagle staying down there in the hall and. You know, especially one at Phillipsburg. I mean, this is a quick response unit, this could stabilize somebody. So they can get up there and then home. Where, you know, so I mean, a lot of people here now, I mean, I think it's pretty important. Whatever.
Certainly in the summer hours, I mean, you've got 10,000 people running around there all the time, and there's a certain irony in this with me, because one of the most basic essential services local government does. And I realize that the level of importance, but then there's a lack of participation, and so it's a difficult thing.
And it's not that they don't want to do it, it's man trying to get the people taken, get it through the classes, you know, like I brought up a couple, my daughter and her husband, they can.
And that's also, you know, my thought was that everybody doesn't have to go be an EMT, somebody can be a driver, you know, and. Whatever, as long as an EMT there probably would be, you know. Pretty necessary, but still, I don't.
It's just, yeah, it's getting out more and more, because people are asking around, right, and that's just what I'm getting conflict is. Are you gonna spend this money and is it gonna sit, what, you know, I mean, you got new stuff now that's not being used. Well, certainly, but there is some good stuff too, they said, oh yeah, it'd be great if we know it's gonna. But we can't sit there and say, yeah, it's gonna work, because we don't know who.
Right, and I would continue to beat the brush. I just approached the fire chief because that was a logical person. You know, there's very capable people at the Forest Service, for example, but I haven't, my plate is so overflowing, I haven't really gone beyond that particular one. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, for the record, Jason White, Councilman, Tom Philbrook. I agree with Chuck, you know, with Eagle being down there in Hall, you know, you get a call up here at the Ranch Rock Creek, which they had a couple this weekend. You know, it's 45 minutes before they get there. It would be nice to have somebody a little bit closer, like, you know, to get out there And, you know, Ranch Rockers does have their own EMTs though, so that does help a lot too. But, any calls up here, yeah, it might take them a little bit longer to get up to Heber. Drummond, you know, they're right there, so they're gonna be there before QRU units there, unless they're out on another call. This weekend Drummond did respond to our call, and that was really nice to see that. I think that was, or here, I didn't really see it, I heard it on the radio, but, the fact that, you know, that was nice to hear Drummond man was out on the call. Eagle must have been busy on transport or something, I'm not 100% sure, but. For them to step in and do that finally, so they are serious about helping them out, then that was
I don't think we have that. They just-
well, right, but I know they're busy and that's just it, it was nice to see them, and that's just the same thing with QRU up here. You know, and I was, the fire department has a lot of volunteers, but the ambulance calls are, you know, double what the fire department can call us in a year. So they're gonna be gone more, but the fact that, you know, the QRU, you're not transporting. So if you can sell that, you're gonna be there once transport ambulance gets here, you get to go home, you don't have to go to Butte, you don't have to go to Missoula. You know, you don't have to go to Anaconda and spend another hour, 2 hours there, so that's one thing that you can sell this with is. You're gonna go, you might be there at the call, when that call's over, you get to go home, the other ambulance is doing the hard part of transporting, being gone for a while.
That's a good point. You save one life, it's worth it. So, or,
You know of anybody that might wanna, like you?
I did take the class, I was thinking maybe I should do it again, I know the QRU, you don't have to have as high training as a regular EMT, because you're not transporting. I think you have to go through, I'm not sure what the qualification is for QRU unit exactly, we'd have to look into that, but, definitely, possibly down the road, but.
You're kind of just thinking, maybe one just have kind of do it up here, we have Drummond down there.
And whatnot.
You're thinking more like just trying to get it up here now, that they have Eagle down there.
Yeah, I think, well, we were talking before, having one here and having one in Drummond, and then, yeah, I think it's pretty important for up here. But we need somebody to be a lead. Like Frank is down there. And
I think this like calling, so, I thought he was gonna be there.
I guess what I would do is make a couple phone calls to some folks who used to be on the ambulance thing and see where they're, I haven't taken that opportunity yet and see where their head's at. And I know that obviously they weren't motivated enough to keep that thing running, but times change and circumstances change. And what Councilman White just described in terms of stabilization and then I'm going home might be an easier sell.
Okay,
So
so-
I'll follow through on that. I'll just keep checking if that's.
Question. QRU up here would stay at the ambulance barn. So funding, would we be funding Peter ambulance levying it this year? The funds for this situation.
I think if we had the interest and then it was a go, I think we would.
So, okay, so QRU here, QRU down there, where they could stabilize somebody. Also, Drummond has their ambulance where they can go out on calls. We have ambulances sitting here in the barn and they're just sitting here. Would it be wise for us to have an ambulance sitting in current and up waiting for in case there was somebody that could drive it?
We should probably have one here, I think.
Yeah, I think if
Yes. That, I guess, no, we've been.
I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
it was talking about. What kind of
Okay.
expense would be
Where
incurred
are we
up here
looking
and,
we want QRU, it sounds good, I mean, and there's interest. But shouldn't we also have the ambulance sitting there up and ready to go in case we would have to use it?
Well, they could, I think.
In case someone was qualified. Where if we weren't gonna get the Eagle ambulance, someone could just rush right in and do it.
I think it all had to do with getting commitments from people first. Getting the commitments first for at least the minimum of the QRU, but then if you get the commitments for to have the ambulance up and ready, then so I would, yeah, I'd get the commitment for it.
And it's gonna have to be funded. Drummond ambulance is now funded, still funded, they're gonna get a QRU, we're giving them a QRU. If we're doing a QRU up here, we still have to have funds sitting there. For upkeep for, and it still would be considered Peaburg ambulance in that district.
Yeah, it'd be under the.
Because
Peaburg
right now, we
Ambulance
still
Association
have the Peaburg ambulance, it's just not funded.
functioning.
This might be a totally wrong question. Could the existing ambulance function as a QRU?
Yeah, yes.
When I cut you
Yeah.
off. Say.
Yeah, I think it could.
Yeah, you know, since it's already there, we might have to do some.
Yeah.
Maintenance upkeep or something like that. That would certainly mitigate some of the costs in terms of getting a home unit. And
So what were you gonna say, lads?
Oh, were you meaning the association running the QRU or the ambulance vehicle?
The physical ambulance itself.
Okay.
could it function as-
Yeah,
Okay, I
that's
see
what
the-
I'm talking
The
about.
Phillipsburg Ambulance Association could run a QRU is my answer. I'm not sure about the,
Yeah,
the actual
the
vehicle.
regs in terms of the vehicle. It seems, I don't know, again,
Well, there's so many ins and outs, so yeah, I don't know if they can use this and don't know what.
well, that's exactly, that's why I asked it kind of, the question is
Okay,
the
so the problem up here is we don't have an association. We have funding, we have we have a district. But right now, we don't have any members in the association.
So you have an association, but it's not functional.
Okay, there you go, not functional.
Okay, what would your thought be on using one of these ambulances for a QRU like that?
Well-
What's wrong with this?
I don't know. I don't see a lot of QRUs using ambulances, but I think Georgetown Lake had an old ambulance that they used, but they just couldn't transport in it. A lot of QRUs are just fire guys. Like if you look at Helmville and Ovando, Georgetown Lake, they just take out the fire trucks. That's what they respond in, or their own personal rigs that have a light on it, red light on it. So technically, you don't really necessarily have to have a QRU. You were just looking for people to respond to a call out. Like Chuck first started this whole thing, a lift assist, or just get there, have, a jump bag or something. You don't, just wait for
Don't you
that.
have a bag anyway with stuff? Don't you guys all, or you have bags with all
Well,
your
you-
stuff in it, for this kind of like, if you, where you're a volunteer, I've seen volunteers bail out at a scene and they have their own bag.
That has happened. Downtown here, we had an individual who fell on the pavement in front of the bank. And one of the Forest Service personnel was driving by in the truck and boy, he jumped right out and he had a big bag and he was right on it. That was just because he happened to be there. That's just what happened.
Well, I think we got the money for it, and then. If we said something up good, I mean, these people would have access to the ambulance garage, they could do whatever, there's. Kitchen in there and all that stuff, I mean, it's really nice, I mean, they could have it for training and, if we get the right people,
That's the whole
they
thing.
might like to do it, I don't know, but.
I think the Drummond one's a good test case because we have the new vehicle, see how it's used and because I think it's gonna be an asset for them to be have a nice functioning vehicle that they're able to take out. See how that works out and get commitments here, or try to get commitments here to do the same.
I think because we did say one on each end, I thought, or did we?
Yeah, I think they said they would try to cover us, but it still takes, half an hour longer. Whatever.
Just, like you said, I'm just bringing the table of people and asking. Make you really think,
If there,
it might just start out, go, and then all of a sudden get it back to what it says. That's a chance.
How about we put something in the paper about seeking volunteers to man this thing? And then have another meeting and people can get somebody to come in and.
Someone to take over it. How about you?
isn't a fireman that's already doing that somewhat kind of informally, brings his bag with him and so forth, or am
I can't think of his first name.
I Mr. Littlejohn?
Yes,
Okay.
as a matter of coincidence, that's who attended to the person who fell. He happened to be driving, and I could see he was very proficient in on it. And he didn't do a whole lot except take vitals and then make stabilize until that. and
Doing what-
Essentially what you guys are talking.
Potentially by him in,
So I would,
Wasn't good, that was kind of, you know, he probably was like, have to have it, don't.
okay, here's what I'll do.
Who is this guy?
That guy, you,
His name is last name's Little John?
That the guy came out when I was,
probably,
Yeah.
got a beard?
Substantial beard, good way to describe it. Yeah, that's what it is, and I'll tell you, what I'll do is, I'll get his number from the fire chief and I'll call.
Okay.
If that's okay with the commissioners, and I'll inquire and see, and explain to him, this isn't like you're running the ambulance, this is a quick response to see what his interest was.
take care until the end, you can.
Yeah, I'll see what it's. Gotta start somewhere. Doesn't hurt to do an ad, either, so.
Where they have it, like, say, it would be nice if there was an EMT there, and then they could make the call too, like. And might be quicker, you know, something like that. Yes, I don't know how that works, I don't know who to do with what.
Anybody can.
Be nice if, I was hoping Frank would be there.
Well, Frank said he could call life flight, you know, and he's.
I know, but he's gotta be on the scene, like today, I think.
A lot of times the sheriff will make that call on the kind of call it is. He'll call life flight before they, or as they're dispatching Eagle, and then when they get on scene or Eagle gets on scene, they'll stand life flight down. But I have noticed life flight's been really busy lately too, where they're almost an hour out sometimes. So, I mean, life flight's even busy lately. So you can count on them, but you can't count on them being quick sometimes. So, I mean, they had the call out Ranch Rocket this weekend, they had to hike up and get somebody. I think Eagle and Life Flight got there at the same time. So,
Well, it could be at night and up on some road back here in Granite or whatever. Life flight couldn't land.
that'd be an argument for having a Suburban or something, isn't that what does Drummond have? But is it gonna be a Suburban?
Well, he didn't know, that's why,
Okay.
I don't wanna talk for him, he told me some stuff, and I guess, I don't like, he can talk for himself and sell it, I'm not. Then it comes back what you said, so. Now,
Well, it's good, and it's a good test case for how things should go.
So should we put an ad, do you think, anybody, or wait until? I think. we
It'd
should
be
put an ad
nice.
in.
I don't think it's a bad idea.
You can't hurt him. I mean, yeah.
And then have a future meeting in a month or so.
Well, I think we need to have an update on what's happening down below there. I mean, we haven't heard down last week, like I said, he was hauling, you know, we couldn't. We never got the agenda this way. I don't know.
Well, we'll put an ad in the paper, and then if we don't get people, then. We can do it.
How about having it like in 3 weeks, run the ad 2 weeks, and see if Mr. Little John can come in 3 weeks. You may have other interest,
3 weeks?
but if you had it in the newspaper,
Oh,
next week and the following week.
of course, the guy talked to him first and then see what you need foot paper, what they have to have for. But when, you know, they have to have, whatever, see, you know, I don't know. Yeah.
Although when I do call him and I do talk to him, I will tell him, obviously. Do you know anybody else? Like, start filtering this around the Forest Service personnel and the fire department personnel and.
So the fire department, the Peaburg Fire Department or whatever. Said they had interest, they were okay with it, thinking.
Yeah, they said-
If we provided the QRU.
Well, it was like one line, like, yeah, sure thing.
Yeah,
Like, this
I
is
mean-
probably a good idea, but no commitment on any level.
Okay,
But then I can follow up with him too. You
We
know,
never
that was,
heard back from Drummond either on their, but the fire department there.
so I mean, like with here, and then having the vehicle parked. In the ambulance shed or barn, it's not a shed, it's pretty big, barn. And where they can come and get it, I mean, this is what we're looking at, is someone able, quick response. We're not getting that, right, I mean. I just. We need to follow through with something,
Or-
we're just wish-washy.
Or it could even be parked where they decide, it could be one of the
Doesn't have
members.
to be there, but
Members take care of
that's
it.
kind of what you were saying, Jason, about
And then they can use the whole thing for whatever.
Yeah.
Like I say, whatever they wanna use it for. So I'll make a motion that we put an ad in the paper and wait till I come up with something real quick.
For 2 weeks and then have it on the agenda in 3 weeks.
So what are we actually saying? Anybody interested in manning a QRU or what? Is that how it would?
I think you should emphasize that this is a position for stabilization and not transport. Like,
Yeah.
this is, we're not looking for ambulance people.
Yeah.
We're looking for a quick response.
Volunteer
Yeah,
people.
just to delineate the difference, because some people may just equate it with, oh, I
Yeah.
did that ambulance and I don't want to do it or whatever. So,
We can look it up. I think Frank Prince said they say a CPR card and like a first aid.
Yeah.
Type card, it's not a EMT requirement. But we'll look that up.
Okay, so would that be something that it could be dispatched out from the sheriff's office?
Yes.
So keep-
Yeah.
Are you
Yes.
in QRU there so we can get an ambulance?
We just gotta make sure that, yeah.
Ambulance get
Hell,
help.
that QRU is gonna be there, but them still
Yeah.
needs to come.
Yeah, go through 911.
So we don't want to get that swing click again where one's not getting a call and then all of a sudden we're sitting there waiting.
But they're dispatching both, both right now.
Okay, I'll second it.
Need public comment.
Is this gonna be for a search and rescue, or is this gonna be a separate entity? Cause we've already got search and rescue guys that have some training. The guy that bought Ty Troop out, he's a professional guy to do that, you have to be CPR or first aid certified. I'm wondering if it might make more sense to roll it all into,
And
into,
remember we looked in there, we couldn't.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Oh, the same people could do it, but it'd be under Phillipsburg Ambulance Association.
Yeah, you can't
Could be
run
the
that search and rescue in with this, right? No,
I'd have to double check that, but
I'm pretty sure that could.
I mean, could they take this new rig on a search and rescue or?
that would be the county's.
I mean,
It'd be up to the county commission.
We should be able
It's on
to
search and rescue.
No, I love.
what's that?
It's on there.
Hey,
We've been trying to figure out
Commissioner's
who
office
was
is-
in on the search and rescue when we was trying to get rid of that car.
That Wendy run it or did a long time.
I don't think there's meetings and so forth. I think it's the sheriff doing a call down or now, so I don't think there's meetings and so forth.
Yeah, they haven't had meetings for a long time. Nick
What's
gets
the last name?
notifications on his phone. For some reason I don't, but he gets all the notifications for call out. for search and rescue.
Mine.
I'm wondering.
It's this name. Now, get your phone number, plug it in.
We've all got our own four-wheel drive. We all know the country better than anybody else. We can all get there in and out safely, quickly, efficiently.
Are you on search and rescue?
Yeah,
I think.
You look like the man for the job or the?
and you know, going down to get an ambulance, if there's a problem with it, it won't start, you just lost 30 minutes. It might be as far as quicker response time to take our own race.
Well, you could, I mean,
That's why I was asking about them bags.
but everybody's probably not gonna take their own rig,
Yeah.
so.
Well, we're gonna move on. We'll put that ad in the paper, all in paper, so.
Alright.
Alright, and then we'll move on here, 3 weeks, we'll have it back on and see what we come up with and thank you.
yeah, I'll make some phone calls and then we'll get back with you.
I'll try down there at the fire department too.
Thanks.
All right.
Have a good day.
And we're gonna go into
Thank
the
you.
Happy Camp Police Agreement update discussion decision.
So the county has the 3 happy camp properties up there. I believe one expired. And so you just look at the lease that you guys approve a model lease that we can use going forward here.
If you want a motion on accepting this, it'll be the lease agreement, right?
It's basically the one we've been using.
You can change anything.
Well, I think I left blanks for like the rent payment. Historically, the Montana Power back in the day did not charge a lot of rent. It's more just them kind of maintain the property, but that's historically what the county commission's done. I haven't asked for higher rents, but fully up to you all. But Also, the Moose Marina is coming up here at the end of the year too, so we have that model agreement and word form out there to use. Don't know if they're gonna want to renew it, but Happy Camp is the close to like Seven Gables there, close to right on the lake. There's some trailers there.
Can't really see it.
No, it's kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Weren't they in like 3 years ago or something, or 2 years ago?
The Indies they have one of them. Yep, Warren is the other one.
But they gotta come in and then, I mean, this is just the cruise there.
Well, my thought would be once you approve that language, and we can send that to them and say it's acceptable and sign and send it back, but however you'd like to do it.
Okay, you guys good with that?
Yeah, good.
Oh. You looking for a motion? I make a motion, we accept the lease agreement with Happy Camp.
And the rent payments staying the same or going?
What is that? I don't know what the rent is.
Like $167 a year or something, wasn't it?
Well, let's just wait till we
Why,
can accept this, and then when we can figure out what the rent is, and we can always change it on that.
why?
I don't know what.
Well, the rents are, I have to rebill here by the end of May, so. If you wanted to stay the same, I need to.
It's very low, but the thought was not making money on more, just having the property maintained, but you guys want to change that.
Keep it the
Yeah,
same,
I don't see why we should.
Keep it the same,
Yeah.
on the paper. Once we carry past it,
Who seconded? You? Did you second?
Who said what?
Who seconded the?
Who's on first?
Okay,
Alrighty. Did you have something?
I do, yeah, Dave needs a, check for the deposit for the drain project. Do you have something that I could put with a claim sheet for that, or?
I guess I have to look at that deposit. What's the deposit for?
8,500 by the steel.
Here's one of these.
You're not gonna start on this. You're gonna finish that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but I gotta get the steel for price goes up again, because we're already too much higher on
Just saying,
that.
no, we wanna finish.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
I don't see where it says a deposit. Deposit 8,500
By the steel.
by the steel.
And I have to order the grates and it's gotta be galvanized out of state, so I've got to pay for that ahead of time, so that goes to pay for that.
Yeah. Okay.
And it might be 6 weeks before we get the grading back.
I'll just make a copy of that and bring you in a claim with all of the stuff.
Do you need to sign it first?
She just said. you
Oh.
want to tell us.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna sign that, you're gonna do that one, yeah. I thought you meant for the deposit. So I'll bring you a claim for it right back.
Alrighty. We'll go into the next one's Joan Arneson Chapel Agreement. We have it here behind us. Request to use the chapel at Georgetown Lake. I did not put this on the website for. Certificate. So she has the. Insurance and I.
What did it say about insurance?
It's attached there.
Oh, okay.
So she can use her, the John. Anyway, he used the chapel at the Georgetown Lake and showing police insurance. They're the ones that were talking about that power through, I think, also. So somebody would use it. Entertain a motion, maybe. I guess as long as there ain't a conflict with the church up there, but it sounds like all the same.
The, what days is September 2nd?
I never know when the church, they do it every Sunday.
Sunday, yeah, Sunday.
They, oh, just Sunday.
Yeah, this is. Something the commission is allowed. Insurance coverage is good. Generally, the county is gonna require, if they have like alcohol and stuff up there, the county as far as insurance, but it's good to have it. In the event. They've got it.
That entertain a motion.
I need to see what I'm making. It's agreement with.
Oh,
Oh. So. It's a chapel agreement
for 1 day use.
for what?
One
day,
One day. One day.
1 day,
Or
well, no,
one day
just
use.
one single day
Oh, okay.
Just for
I was thinking you were.
for a wedding.
I make a motion that we accept Joan Armison's chapel agreement at Georgetown Lake for 1 day use.
That's it.
Public comment? It's none, all in favor? Thank you very much.
We can do that. didn't we?
Yeah.
All good?
That's what they pay for rent, but I don't know that,
I don't think we charge
Okay.
anybody use the job, we take the account. Yes, you can make sure there's nothing that don't happen.
So, some kind of a-
yeah, they have the insurance in place.
kind of deposit.
You can require one.
That the same condition.
I think they should, because they're in there, I mean, we don't.
So then they would get the deposit back upon inspection. Who's gonna do the inspection? Just gonna inspect. You, it's not one of you. No.
I could just go by, hopefully it'll clean it out, a big mess, if there's a mess, we have to clean out, we're gonna be charged. That's the thing. But I wish they'd come in and want stuff. Actually talk to somebody, and not saying they're asking each other questions, they're asking them. You know, you're gonna make sure that you can sign something, maybe they will do this.
We need a cupcake or whatever those are.
Now you got one more agenda item.
So
Oh, yeah.
the deposit, what were you wanting for deposit?
How much do you want to deposit? You can't be a 500. They get it back.
They get that. 250. What do you think?
I just make sure it gets cleaned up, it's the whole thing.
Yeah.
We get it back.
That way at least we know it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know, they're just leaving, it's gonna process place out. Alrighty. Well, we'll move on to the resolution 2023-6. Resolution amending, this is just first reading on the current fiscal year budget for county's area 5 agency on. To account on specific contract funds, that was our money that they're gonna be able to make it through this year. So, just first reading. Anything else?
Maybe initial right there and sign.
So do I send that to her? Is Billy, what do we do?
Yeah, I can be email for money.
And Billy wanted me to give this to you, Blaine.
Okay.
Sure.
They smell lemony.
Who made them?
Sarah,
Oh,
I want cupcake. I'd entertain a motion, if we don't have nothing else that would be done,
Motion to do what?
and we're done for the day,
Adjourn?
yeah.
Do you make that motion? I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
No, second.
They were- I-